Hello, my name is Jimmy Vegas and welcome to this, the 8th in a series of video tutorials on how to create a Minecraft style game in Unity 5. So I know it's been a very long time since the last tutorial in this series, and all I can say for myself is I've had a lot of things to do. From now on I'm going to try and carry on this series. First things first, what we're going to do in this episode is we're going to start looking at some GUI. So we'll be looking at our menu. Progressing from there, we'll look at modifying our block to actually make ourselves mine the blocks. We'll look at various different things, but as I say, we're going to start with some GUI in this episode. Okay, so for Minecraft, we'll need kind of two forms of GUI. We'll need our kind of little bar that we have at the bottom. We'll have, say, 8 slots. And then we'll need our main inventory. So I'm going to start with our main inventory because that will probably take a little bit longer. So what we'll do is game object. Let's see, UI. And let's go to, what should we have? Panel. And as you can see there, you should have this rather large panel appear. Over here, you should see canvas, and under canvas, you'll have what we have as the panel and an event system. Make sure you keep the event system there and out of the canvas. So you can see it's two separate objects. I'm going to keep the canvas named as canvas, and I'm going to rename the panel as inventory. So over here, you'll have this little icon. Probably will say stretch and stretch there. If you click it, you'll be presented with some anchor presets. Now all this is as your window size increases or decreases, it changes the size of the panel. So at the moment, it's set on stretch, stretch. So if we hit play, you'll see that it covers the entire screen. We don't want that. So what we're going to do is we're going to click that and we're going to click on this middle one here. So it's center middle. And now what we can do is we can change the actual size of our inventory screen. So if you double click that there, it'll put that right in the middle for you. And let's use this end icon right here. So if you click that, you'll see 4 blue circles around the edges of your panel. Just reduce it to a size that you would like. So let's say probably about maybe that size. And then you can drag it into the center. You'll notice as you drag it, it will kind of snap at some point, and 2 lines will light up blue. That means it's dead center. So if we press play again, we should see our GUI panel is dead center. Zoom in a touch. Let's go to game object, UI, and just for reference, we'll put some text on there. I'm going to drag and drop this onto the inventory right there. I'm going to rename. In fact, no, we'll just keep it as text. I'm just going to type in as text inventory. And with this anchor, let's click this one here, left top. You'll notice it doesn't actually move anywhere just yet. However, if you zero out the position, it will move itself. And then we can make the final adjustments of moving it exactly where we want. About there. So no matter what size your screen is, the word inventory will always be anchored to this corner right there. So let's go for a bit of color change on our inventory. If you're down here, you can see there's color, and it's probably going to be a little white and a little black there. So first off, let's set our color. What color should we have? Let's have maybe a nice kind of blue color. In fact, like a grayish kind of blue should do. And you can set the alpha down here. Now the alpha is how much you can see through it, so how translucent it is. So if you were to move it all the way over here, or all the way over here, it would make a massive difference. Moving it all the way to the end means that you cannot see through it one bit. Moving it all the way this end means you can see through it just fine. So let's put it on 255 right at the end, press play, just to show you what I mean. So you can't see through it at all right now. but I think it'd be better if we could see through it to some extent. So I'm going to have, in fact, let's change the blue to about there. And I want to be able to see through it, so let's change it to about 180, 170-ish, so about there. Close that, and let's see what that looks like. Okay, so yeah, I'm happy with that. Let's quickly change the text. Let's play around with that. You could import a font. In fact, we might get around to that in a later tutorial. Font style, let's have as a bold. Let's have size as 18, just so as it's a little bit bigger. Let's keep line spacing. Let's keep them. In fact, let's change the color. Let's have a lighter grey. So about there. So you can change any of these colors to however you want it to look, and that's fine. So now let's start putting in our slots. So game object, UI, and let's see, what's the best way to do this? Let's go with panel again, and let's bring that panel onto our inventory. Let's right click, and we'll call this slot 01. Let's set our anchor point. So let's have this one left middle, and let's change our size. In fact, let's zero our position first, and let's change our size. Rather than use our little blue circles here, let's change the width and height over here. So how about we put, let's see, 75 by 75. Looks a bit big. Let's change it. Let's have 50 by 50. And then let's move it into position. About there, maybe. Let's see how that looks. Okay, yeah, I'm happy with that. So I'm going to duplicate that and move it outwards. Now, one thing to note here, this is version 5.0 of Unity. When duplicating anything after that, I do believe it doesn't follow on the naming system. I think it was removed. It should probably come up with, in brackets afterwards, something like brackets 1 and brackets 2. So yours may probably look like that. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. You could just rename if you want to. I'm not sure why they removed it, to be honest. It was a bit strange. So I'm going to duplicate that again, move it out this way, and once again, not quite sure how many slots we're going to have. So I'm just going to keep going to, let's say about there. It's not perfect, but you can match everything up perfectly. So I'm going to take all the slots there. I'm going to duplicate, drag them down. In fact, I should probably move everything up a touch because I want 3 rows. So about there. And my last row, so duplicate, and let's pull it down to there. So I've got 18 slots in total. They're not perfect, but they will do for now. So within these slots, these panels, we can insert further objects. So I'm going to go to Game Object, UI, and Raw Image. Now, a raw image is something we can put an image into, obviously, but the way we're going to do it is going to be a bit different, but we'll get into that probably in the next tutorial. For now, I'm going to right-click, rename, and let's simply call this slot 01 underscore image. And let's zero out that position. And let's have the height and width as just a fraction smaller than our actual panel. So let's have 48 by 48. Hopefully it fits in the panel just nicely if we press play. a little bit small. So let's have 45 by 45. Let's have a look at this one. That'll do for now. You can obviously change it if you want it bigger, smaller. It's entirely up to you. I'm just showing you the basics of how to do it. I'm not going to change any more on that image. I'm not going to duplicate it to anything further in there because we'll work on this one image because we'll need a bit of scripting and a couple of different things on there before we duplicate it. Otherwise, we'll be duplicating the work 18 times. So what we're going to do now is let's create the GUI underneath. So what I think we might have to do is if we move our inventory up a touch, I think I'll probably have to move mine to there. And I'm going to go Game Objects, UI, and Panel again. I'm going to anchor it down the bottom. I'm going to zero out the position. And I'm going to change the size. Let's see. In fact, I'll change the size here. So let's change, so as it's in position, probably about there. So if I press play, okay, I think I could do with a little bit smaller there, about there. Okay, that looks fine. So what I'm going to do here is I'm not going to bother changing the color. Let's right click, rename, and let's have this as Screen Inventory. And let's take just one of these slots, duplicate it. Oops. I'll zoom in a touch there. And bring it to about there, I think. And that has gone to slot 19, but what I'm going to do is drag and drop that into Screen Inventory and rename as slot 01. And you probably guessed it by now. Duplicate and move along. Duplicate and move along. And again. Once again. So I want 8 at the bottom here, I think. It just makes things that little bit easier. And last one. Let's put that there. Again, it's not perfect, but it will do for the purposes of this tutorial. So you can see our GUI is slowly taking shape now. You can take much more care, take things a lot more slowly if you want. These bits up here, we've got dirt blocks, grass blocks, blah, blah, blah. That will be removed because these numbers will appear here eventually on our inventory or down here if we have it open. So the last thing we're going to do is let's close the arrows there on our inventory. This first inventory we made over here, tick that arrow. It looks like it disappears, but it doesn't. It just disables it for now. So as we walk around, you can see that our main inventory does actually stay there. Sorry, our screen inventory down here, it stays there. And our main inventory has disappeared. Now, eventually we'll create a script which allows us to, say, press escape, or we'll set any button to bring up our inventory, and we'll be able to move objects around and change what we need. So we'll leave this tutorial there for now. Next episode, we'll be looking at more GUI. We'll look at some scripts, and we'll be advancing further with what we've built. Take a look at our other videos. We've got tons and tons of series appearing now. Have a look on our website for bits and bobs, assets, scripts, whatever you need. Have a play with Unity. Get yours looking much better than mine. And I will see you in the next tutorial. Thank you very much for watching.